Welcome to episode 3 of The Prophetic Painter of Rajasthan. If you haven't yet, I recommend watching episodes 1 and 2 first to catch the full unfolding story. But whether you're returning or just jumping in, I'm glad you're here. Now, take a breath and step with me into a world of ancient secrets, hidden powers, and mysteries. Let's begin. For the first time in his life, Veerraj lived without nightmares or migraines. In the quiet village outside Mazar-e-Sharif, he rose with the sun and slept beneath a sky so wide it seemed to hold no memory. He took care of a small plot of land where onions, spinach, and chickpeas grew in stubborn soil. Chickens clucked around his ankles, unbothered by his silences. On market days, he travelled into the city for day labour or to trade for supplies. He laughed sometimes softly and occasionally, but the laughter was real. He hadn't painted in 6 months, not a line, not a mark, not even in dreams. He thought, perhaps the mountains had swallowed the curse. Back in Jaisanpur, beneath the high arches of Rana's castle, dust had begun to stir. One of Veerraj's old canvases, sealed long ago in the castle's archive room, had begun to change. It was a subtle change at first, a shade of red deepening, a distant cloud darkening. Then, unmistakably, new forms began to emerge. What once showed a quiet village celebration now revealed creeping shadows on the horizon, figures with no faces, tall and hunched, moving toward the village. It was the cleaning woman who first noticed. She told her supervisor. The supervisor summoned the Rana's scholars. Pale and muttering, the scholars looked closely at the painting. "The ink is not wet," one whispered. "But it is not dry either." Soon, word reached the Rana himself. "He was not merely a painter," said one of the astrologers, voice shaking. "He was a vessel, a mirror to what comes, a seer." "No," said the priest, "not a mirror, a door." They summoned Veerraj's father. The old man listened, silent and tight-jawed. He said little, but that night he did what he hadn't done in months. He wrote a letter, a simple message, tucked inside a merchant's pouch, headed north with a spice caravan. He said a quiet prayer. "Let it find my son before something else does." The letter found Veerraj weeks later in the hands of an almond merchant in Mazar-e-Sharif. The name on the envelope was unfamiliar, Abdel Ghani, but it was Veerraj's new name. He read the message twice. His hands trembled. Paintings are changing on their own. Village shapes darkening. People are afraid. "Are you dreaming again? Please write back. Tell me the truth." His father has written. But Veerraj had no truth to give. He hadn't dreamed in 6 months, not once. His sleep had been deep and undisturbed. Yet the letter bothered him. That night, sleep came slowly. He woke at sunrise, drenched in sweat, but remembered nothing. "I think I may have a sleepwalking problem," he told Hussein, a farmer from the neighbouring village. "Sometimes I feel off, like I move in sleep." Hussein raised an eyebrow, but agreed to help. For 3 nights, he and his wife and daughter took turns watching Veerraj sleep in their guest room. The first night passed uneventfully, so did the second. By the third, they grew comfortable. Hussein slept in his chair, his wife curled up with a shawl. No one noticed Veerraj rising and getting out of the house. Hussein's daughter woke up to use the outdoor toilet just before dawn. She saw Veerraj standing barefoot in the garden, motionless under the moonlight. His hand traced the air slowly with a stick, as if brushing invisible lines across a canvas only he could see. She called for her parents. They watched, hushed and frightened, as Veerraj painted with no tools, just a stick, held like a brush, weaving strange patterns into the still night air. His eyes were open, yet vacant, his body rigid, entranced. Hussein approached carefully. He took Veerraj's arm, led him gently back inside. Veerraj didn't resist. He lay back on the bed and closed his eyes, as if nothing had happened. They locked the door. In the morning, over tea and bread, they told him. Veerraj listened in stunned silence. His throat tightened. He forced a laugh. "Must have been the exhaustion," he said, waving it off. "Thank you for watching me. I'm fine, really." He returned to his cottage. There he sat for hours, staring at his hands. What had he painted? He had no memory, no visions, no migraine, no dream. And yet, something had taken hold of him in the quiet hours, something that could not be silenced, not by peace, not by mountains, not even by false names. He lit a lamp that night and sat before a blank canvas for the first time in half a year. His hand hovered, hesitant. Then he painted. His brush moved without will. Shapes emerged. Fog-covered hills, a ruined watchtower, a road of bone and ash, and at the edge of it all, a faceless figure with outstretched arms, as if summoning something from beneath the soil. When it was done, he stared at the paintings, horrified. "I didn't see this in my dreams," he whispered. He began to wonder, was he ever free? Was this curse not born from dreams, but from something else? And if he was painting again, even in sleep, what force had followed him across the sands and into these mountains? Far away, in the Jaisanpur castle, the scholars returned to the shifting painting. Now it showed the village in ruins, its buildings smouldering, the shadows much closer and overhead. A crow watched from a crumbling wall, blinking once, then vanishing into smoke. Thank you for watching episode 3 of The Prophetic Painter of Rajasthan. Your presence in this journey truly matters. Now tell me, do you think Veerraj's visions are returning or evolving into something darker? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your theories. If you have loved this story so far, please subscribe, share, and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. The brush moves when no one's watching, and the story is far from over. See you in episode 4.